Hey Cancer, welcome to Duality Tarot. My name is TJ. Today's video is going to be a love reading for you for the month of April. I'll try to get a good idea what's going on between you, Cancer, and whoever your romantic interest may be. So, this general love reading is, I put out a pretty simple spread. Try not to take up too much of your time. I know we all have stuff we gotta do. Going to work myself here in probably an hour or so, I think, an hour and a half. So, all that said, what I'm going to do is the first two here are going to represent Cancer. It's going to represent your energy for whatever this issue is. And then I'm going to do another two for your romantic partner, see what's going on with them. I think that's what we're most interested in. And then, fascinating, very fascinating. It's always something that's great when you go into a doctor's office and they're looking at your chart and you have no idea what those words mean. And they're like, oh, that's interesting. The first thing you're thinking is, oh man, oh man, oh man. There's a few cards that when I see them come out, always jump out at me. The Lovers, because it has a very specific meaning that I really latch onto, which is aligning with values. And the Chariot, in general, and I'll go back over this too, because I like to give you the description of what I see here. These next two, complete side note, these next two are going to represent the point of contention. What is both of your, what are we not seeing eye to eye? Okay. I'll tell you about the Chariot in a minute. So I'm going to go over these meanings first. That way you kind of know what we're seeing here, and then I'll put it all together for you and go from there. All right, Cancer? So your part of this story here is the King of Cups, or I'm sorry, the Knight of Cups, which is acting on your feelings but moving slow. It's a new emotion that has formed. Probably not quite sure what to do with it yet. A lot of times that comes into play when, as a general example, you get a new partner, okay? You meet somebody new, your emotions are flying, and it's not even a partner yet. You just met this person. So you're walking on the street and you just start talking to this person. Your emotions are flying, where do I go? What do I do? But one thing you don't do to this person you just started talking to is ask them right away, let's get married and have kids. That would be acting fast. You, being the smart person you are, Cancer, would be, hey, what's going on? That's what most people would do, is get to know the person. They're going slow. Because also in your mind, you're trying to process, is this person actually right? Or did I just bump into some random stranger and yeah, they may seem like they're flirting with me, but they're just a really friendly, nice person who is completely not into me at all. You don't know. So that's a new feeling that you're experiencing, and it doesn't have to necessarily be, that particular example. You can be in an existing relationship and some new negative feeling has come up. And once again, being the smart person that you are, not just immediately jumping into it. Man, I got this bad feeling about something, but I'm not just going to go start yelling at somebody. And hopefully they're not doing that to you. Just get like a weird feeling, man, my partner came home 20 minutes late from work. I wonder what they're doing behind my back. Hopefully you're not in a situation like that. Like, yeah, I got a bad feeling that they're still not home after 20 minutes, but I'm not going to jump to the worst possible conclusion. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of what new but slow is. It was a long-winded explanation. Then you have the King of Pentacles, which is wealth. Wealth of physical possession. Now, physical possession, a lot of times Pentacles means like money, the physical stuff that you like to have. But doing these readings for a while, sometimes Pentacles can represent your physical form as well. We are flesh and blood who exist in the physical world. So if you have wealth in the physical world, and that wealth is self, that can be two things. That could be, and that's if this is what it is. I mean, money obviously can translate into wealth, but your physical, your embodiment, your physical presence on this earth, you can have wealth of that if when you look at yourself in the mirror and you see somebody who you are content with, you see, you accept your looks, you accept your presentation into the world for what it is, and you're proud of that. That is wealth of self. That is confidence. Now, sometimes people go past that, and you start throwing vanity, and it becomes vain. You become, rather self-obsessed. People that think that they're a 10 when they're actually an 8. We all know those people. But they are way more than they think they are. That's wealth plus narcissism. Never a good combination. That's how you get the mean kid, well, I'm prettier than you. No, you're not. No, you're not. That was another long-winded explanation of what a pentacle is, but the king represents a wealth of that. Then you have the Ace of Swords. This is for our partner. Whoever this person is to you, Cancer, they're leading it off with the Ace of Swords, which is a new idea, a new truth. Swords represent truth. They represent, a new facet of reality. A new truth is not always a good thing. If you've been led to believe your entire life that, clouds are made of marshmallow, and you believe that is your truth, and suddenly you wake up and it's foggy and you realize, oh my goodness, this is a cloud and this does not taste like marshmallow. Now you have a new truth and a lot of disappointment because marshmallows are great. But they also have the Chariot. Now, the Chariot is, to me, the Chariot's a little complicated. The Chariot is a powerful relationship. It's something strong. You have two very powerful forces pulling the Chariot which is your combined hopes and dreams. It is the relationship. You have two people, two predominant forces, you and whoever this individual is in the relationship, pulling it along. But they're not going in exactly the same direction. So what you have here is two people that are pulling the Chariot, but they might have different end goals. And if those goals continue to differentiate, if it's something as simple as like my wife and I want lemonade on a porch swing, she wants tea on a porch swing. Those are two pretty different drinks, like really different drinks. And my idea is over here, but her idea is over here. But we still have that porch swing, so we're still pulling together. Let's say it's a completely different circumstance for, this very, very obscure example. Let's say you want hamburgers and you want hot dogs, or they want hot dogs, and they absolutely hate hamburgers, and you absolutely hate hot dogs. There is no combination. There's a dinner, but you guys really hate that idea. Your ideas continue to go apart, and hamburgers and hot dogs isn't going to be the thing that destroys a relationship. Hopefully, that would just break my heart. But when you start having those small differences pull your relationship apart, things compound on that. Suddenly, well, I don't like the hamburger buns that you have. Well, your hot dog buns aren't pretzel hot dog buns. Well, I don't even like pretzels. And now it's like the differences continue to grow. So as these issues continue and you have less and less of the same direction, as things pull apart, this is still going, but it's going to slow down and it's going to eventually stop because you now are here. And when the relationship stops and they're down here and you're down here, we both know what that means. You know what it means, I know what it means, we all know what that means. Sometimes, I guess the easiest, simplest, it is the beginning of a division. It is the beginning of a distraction. It is the beginning of some sort of separation of conformity between you and whoever your partner is in what seems like a very strong relationship. It can be good because sometimes that can lead to different points of view. When you have somebody, like if you have two people, walking side by side, they may not see something coming in from the other side. If you have two people a little further apart, they see different angles and it could bring it back together. So keep those things in mind. The problem here, the dynamic, and this is how this will come into play, but this is what the tension is. The Knight of Pentacles, long-term abundance, the ability to be secure, especially when it comes into the physical world, is a question, is a issue here. And then you have your Nine of Cups, which is satisfaction, emotional satisfaction. It's a very interesting dynamic. The thing that you both want is long-term abundance, because it's what we all want. We all want to know that we have a roof over our head, that we have a mode of transportation to get to whatever we want to do. And we have the ability to do what we want to do. That is a shared desire. Emotional fulfillment, that is also a shared desire. But right now, those two things are in question. There's an underlying problem here. So let's find out what you and whoever this person is, how all this plays together. Seems like for the most part, you, Cancer, are the one that is kind of seeing it more. This person, it's not because they don't have any cups, it's not because they don't have any pentacles, but it's because they have a new truth. You have the wealth. Your problem is with wealth and your problem is with emotion. They're not seeing that eye to eye. They're not seeing the problem that you're seeing. And they're confident about the situation, which is why they're starting to diverge. So it kind of makes me wonder, every single person's situation is going to be different. Like every individual person, Cancer, your exact problem is not the identical specific parameters as if you had a next door neighbor who was a Cancer as well. So what you have to ask yourself, the core of this problem, is it that they see you behaving in a different way that they don't expect, something that's not the status quo? And they're not taking you seriously, which is causing them to act a little different. Maybe they think they're taking the high road and being the real stern, oh no, there's not a problem. And what that's doing is causing them to maybe sideline your feelings a little more, that that partnership isn't exactly there. So here's what we need to think about. What is your side in playing into this? This is telling me that person's unresponsive. So let's find out what's going on with you with this. You have the King of Pentacles, which is wealth, versus the Knight of Pentacles, which is long-term abundance. I'm kind of thinking that this person might have some spending habits that aren't quite under control. This person is seeing money as something that can potentially be abused. This person is seeing something in the physical world. This person, you could have wealth of self, and this person is not seeing that wealth for what it is. It's something that can be abused. You know, if you're a 10 and they're treating you like you're a 2, I mean, that hurts your wealth of self. This person is taking advantage of the things that you have. And yes, while in the moment right now, it's manageable, what you see is the long-term effect of it. You have the foresight knowing that in the long run, you're going to run out of money. You're going to run out of self-esteem in the physical world. You may let yourself go because you don't care. You don't feel like you're not getting, you know, it's so hard to describe it because I don't want it to feel like it's narcissism, because a lot of times narcissists need to continually be reminded of who they are, of how good they look. But there's a difference between having to have that and just hearing it and being treated like you deserve. Sometimes just being told, you know, you look really nice today, especially if you've went out of your way to put on your best outfit and do your hair real good, like I didn't this morning. But when that's abused, when you're just seen as, yeah, okay, just get in the car, we'll go, it's kind of demeaning. Like, should I even try anymore? When your pocketbook is being drained by frivolous things, it's like, what am I working for? If you're bringing home more money and they're wasting that money, what are you even working for? Are you even benefiting from it? I mean, yeah, the bills are paid, but I want to do fun stuff too. And that's where this new emotion is. This new emotion is why you're here today. This new emotion is why you're even watching this. This new emotion is not a good emotion, because this new emotion, this new feeling that you have, is what's blocking that fulfillment. This is more about you than it is about them. This is more about figuring out your issue leading into this. Like, because they're not being helpful. They're really not. So here's I'm going to ask a couple other questions because I'm just curious. Sometimes we as humans take something that's really small and compound it into something that's blown out of proportion. Especially when people aren't communicating with us, we will sometimes add things to the story that aren't true. It's going back to the very beginning. We as humans have a tendency to, you know, think the worst possible situation. Not everybody is the same, but we all know that person that if their partner doesn't respond to that text message in the first 30 seconds, that they're out cheating. We all know that person. We're wired to expect the worst. So, what I want to know, the first question, is this problem potentially here we go, because because I'm going to ask two. They're going to be relevant to each other. What happens to our friend Cancer here if they grit their teeth and just deal with it? Deal with it by ignoring it. Deal with it by falling into their partner's mentality of stoicism and just not necessarily apathy, but not taking the problem that Cancer sees as seriously as you, as Cancer, is doing. What are we looking at here? Give me a good two to describe what's going on here. Okay. Here's the flip side of it. This question won't be as long because Cancer, we already know the old one. What happens if they do something about it? What happens if Cancer gets aggressive and says, you know what? I get it. You're trying to kind of sideline me a little bit. You're not really taking the problems that I'm bringing to you seriously. So I'm going to make you understand. I'm going to get aggressive. I'm going to get up in your face. I'm going to tell you. I'm not saying that you're going to literally get up in their face and yell at them. I don't think our Cancer is like that. But this is definitely the kind of person that is done playing around. I'm done, making little comments. Hey, I think our bank account might need a little attention. Not the comments like that. Or, hey, I don't like how you're making me feel because you're not treating me good. No, this is going to turn into, hey, you are really spending too much money. Explain. Or, hey, I did everything I could to look good for you. And you're just treating me like garbage. You are treating me like I'm just another person with you. I'm not special. Why? Explain. What happens if they decide to go for the throat in that sense? See what we got here. What happens if they go for it? So if you let things play out, what we have is the Three of Pentacles, which is success in the physical world. And then you have the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is looking at things from a new point of view. It's a new perspective, a new way of looking at things. On the outside, it's like, oh, well, maybe we're going to figure out a way through it. What I'm seeing here is the new status quo. What I see here is the bar for success has been lowered. You now are seeing that you're almost seeing it from their point of view. Well, I just want to spend because it's fun, or I'm content with how you look because I've been with you for so long. You're always pretty to me. Now that's the new status quo. It's just assuming everything will be okay. You assume you have success, but is it really success? I mean, honestly, is it really success? Well, if success is subjective, which a lot of times it is, some people's success is just being able to eat that night, being able to feed their family. Other people's success is buying a yacht and traveling the world. What is your criteria for success? Is your criteria the same as theirs? Are you falling behind on bills and they're out going to I don't know, just buy expensive things. They impulse purchase. I think your criteria for success is a little more important than theirs, having a roof over your head. If it's frivolous spending and you're not going to be able to get that yacht, but you're still going to get like a speedboat or something, is that within acceptable, criteria for you? So more or less what you need to really, really understand in your own mind, are you, Cancer, blowing something out of proportion? Or, Cancer, are they actually damaging your situation? Take a step back, cool the emotion, turn off the emotion. I know it's really hard to do, but turn it off for a minute and think about it like a robot. Put your input in. Hey, we have 100% of our resources. They're spending 10% on frivolous crap. We only need 50% of our resources to survive. We still have 40% of our resources to do whatever with. Is that worth worrying about? Or we have 100% of resources. We need 80% of those resources, and they're spending 25% of the resources. Yeah, 5% doesn't seem like a lot, but 25% of it going toward whatever leaves none for you and all the worry for you. So gauge your situation, narrow it down, get the facts. Because if this status quo is acceptable to keep the peace, maybe it's not worth the argument. It could be. If you have shared goals of, in 20 years, I want to retire and go do this and this and this, and their actions is going to cause that to be 30 years, I would say something about that. Yeah, your bills are paid. Yeah, you're not in an uncomfortable spot, but if you have some really set in stone goals and they're infringing on that, yeah, I'd say something too. I want to retire in 20 years. I don't want to wait 30 years. That's a conversation worth having. So, if you go for the throat on it, if you go right up in and you start, really in on it, explain, do this, do that, we're going to have the Hermit. The Hermit is introspection. The Hermit is looking within yourself for answers. The Hermit is... This is going to play into this. If you get aggressive with it, if you let anger take a hold of you, they're not going to respond to that well at all. They're going to look within themselves for comfort and not you. You're going to fulfill that chariot. You are going to validate how they feel things are going. Right now, they're not completely separated off. If they were completely separated off, done, out of the picture, this wouldn't apply because they wouldn't be this person anymore. So they're still in the game. They're still part of the equation. You would be the one pushing them out the door. And it's not you pushing them out the door. It wouldn't be you saying, get out and don't ever come back. It wouldn't be you. Cancer, you're not the one that would end it. But what you would do is validate whatever that is in their mind into following through with how they're feeling. Because you have that Five of Swords, which is arguments, which is the destruction of a truth and the beginning of a new one. They will come to believe that they're right. They're in a new phase right now. Now, I'm gonna do one more and then I'm gonna let you out of here. It's not a therapy session, but a lot of times I never look to the bottom of the deck. Everybody reads differently. Sometimes things jump out at you though. Sometimes things really do. Because these yes, in and of itself, it is just a piece of cardboard with ink on it. I mean, that's what it is. But the messaging that it conveys through however it works, the messaging through it, it does have meaning. And of all things to be on the bottom of a deck, of all things, is the King of Swords. The King of Swords, which is rational communication about a truth. What we have here is the extreme of what could be in one way and what could be in another. But this, just right there, right in front of my face, it jumped out at me. And this should be jumping out at you. Cancer, you're obviously not a dumb person. If you were, you wouldn't even think anything of it. You wouldn't have that feeling in the back of your mind to examine the situation. You're smart, you're clever, you know that there is a problem. When you take that step back to examine the problem, maybe you need to think of a different way to go about it. If it's money, maybe tell them, hey, you're spending this. What am I supposed to do? Are you spending this for your own benefit? Is this going to better us? I just want to know so I can start spending that 10% on making you feel better. May lead to more resources being drained, but maybe it'll get the point across too. That, hey, I'm working really hard and I'm not really getting anything out of it. Only you are. Or ask them, are you truly comfortable with our situation, with our pocketbook? How do you see this as okay? How do you see this benefiting us down the line? How is this benefiting the relationship? And that may make them pause for a moment, because now they have to answer an honest question. That's not an attack. I mean, that particular wording could be seen as an attack. You are the one who knows your partner. So word it however you want, if that's the issue that you see. Make them answer for their spending. Or if it's about treating you not quite, am I doing something that is old, is stale? I mean, I'm not saying that you should go out and get a whole new hairdo, shave your head or grow it out real long, or, whatever your situation is, or completely change your wardrobe. Go from only wearing all black and band t-shirts to copying this wonderful look of the bright stuff that I like to wear. Sometimes changing your entire look is also one of those things that you get that second look, be like, wait, what? I'm over here doing my own thing, and I look up and you're like a completely different look. What did you do? Oh my God. And maybe it's something good, maybe it's something they'll enjoy, maybe it's something they'll hate, and then they'll realize that, man, I really wish you'd go back to what I liked. Well, maybe you should have told me you liked it. Get that communication in there. Make them answer. Make them have to answer, but be sly and do it in a way that you're gonna get your answer, but they don't think that there's gonna be a fight, because you don't want to fight. You just want to be on the same page. This is the goal. That fulfillment and that long-term abundance. Take it. It's yours. It's there. And if this person wants to be your partner in making that happen, then they'll be your partner in making it happen. And if they're not going to work on fulfilling your emotions, if they're not going to work on building your home, your sense of self to be better, then what are they really? Are they just some, that's like the difference between a romantic partner and a roommate. A roommate's there just to live there. A romantic partner is there to build your family. Are they your roommate? Or are they your lover? Find that out and make that choice. Cancer, you're smart. You can do this. You truly can. Don't doubt yourself. Don't settle for anything less than what is the best for you. But keep in mind that relationships are a two-way street. Don't be selfish, but be selfish enough. Probably doesn't make sense at all. But like I said, you're smart. You understand. Don't get left behind. But don't be a butthole about it either. Because being a butthole leads to failure, and just not doing anything leads to potentially failure too, depending on what your bar for success truly is. So with that, Cancer, I appreciate you sticking through probably a pretty long video today. I apologize for that, but I wanted to make sure that you had all the information you needed. So yeah, really appreciate you watching the video, and I'll catch you next time.